everybody, and welcome to the college edition of Proline. It's one of the two that's up right now. You want to check out the NFL edition as well. There's a couple of big games in the NFL that we're looking at on the pro football side of things. But we're going to look at some good college matchups this weekend as well. And here to do it, Big Al McMorty, Big Al Sports, and John Cranton for Jim Feist Sports. I'm Dave Cokin. Later on, we'll have our man in the street, Jeff Side, who's got a free NFL pick for Sunday. So some good stuff to talk about. We're going to get things out of the gate, though, by telling you what's going on with the offers. I'll start with my December stocking stuffer special. It's 31 days of December, the entire month, for $1 a day. And we're going to get you started, or I'm going to include, I should say, a really big play this weekend. Now, this one game will go for $99 online. It's my conference championship game of the year. It's a game I really like a lot in college football this weekend, about as much as I've liked any game this year. So it's something very strong. That game's going to be included. So you're getting a $99 game just to get you off the jump, and it's included in this 31 days for $31 special. Do the math. That's a good deal. Sign up now and start winning right away. You'll get that game as soon as you sign up, by the way. You don't have to wait until game day. I'd like you to get a better number on that because I think this number goes up heading toward the weekend, and may as well get it at a good price. So $31 for everything, 1-866-896-1629. That's 1-866-896-1629. Big Al coming off a monster Sunday. Colts were huge for you. The Fortune 500's delivered like they always do. NFL Conference Game of the Month. In fact, not one, but apparently you've got two that really jumped out this week. So you got some big stuff coming up.
I do, Dave. We've got our AFC Conference Game of the Month going. We've got our NFC Conference Game of the Month going. We've got a high roller college football winner on Saturday. Those three games, just $19. And for those who sign up early, you get a high roller Fortune 500 Club play going tonight. That's a $500 value. That goes in basketball, of course. 4 monster plays, only $19. 866-841-1665. That's 866-841-1665.
John, I know Jim's been really hot in the NBA, just grinding out basically a 2 out of 3 run going back quite a ways now. And he had 2 just complete annihilations in football. Iowa and Nebraska way under the total. And then the Giants on Sunday night. Wish I had listened to him on that game. I took the other side. I was in it until about the coin flip. So nice going on Jim. And I assume he's got some really big stuff to talk about this weekend.
Yeah, he's got a pair of offers. If you like to play college basketball on Saturday, 5 big plays, 5-play countdown for $15. It's going to include his college odds maker error game of the year. This is his first college game of the year in college basketball. And also on Sunday, he's got a pair of huge winners, his AFC game of the year as well as his NFL total of the year. They're going to be $100 online individually, but you can get both for $20. For $20 with a guarantee. For all this, call 1-866-841-1655.
All right, let's look at some college football, and we'll first start with a game in Reno, a little north of us here in Las Vegas. The Wolfpack of Nevada, they close things out at home, and it's against Boise State. The last time they'll meet as conference rivals, because Boise, at least for the time being, is headed off to the Big East. So this is it's funny how it works. These two teams were rivals in another conference, the WAC, for years. And then they both end up in the Mountain West for a year, and now Boise is adios. So I'm not sure that brings any emotions into the situation, but it's just one more factor to kind of figure in. Nevada has given Boise State some problems, Al. Will they do it again on Saturday?
Well, unless I've got a very good reason, and I don't here, I won't fade a conference home underdog that's playing with both rest and revenge. These teams are 204 and 164 against the spread going all the way back to 1980. And I've got several strong subsets within this general angle. Nevada does fall into most of those strong subsets. So I will take the points, with the Wolfpack here. And, as an aside, with all this conference stuff, every time I hear that Boise's in the Big East, I just cringe. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't want to go off on a rant here, but, now with Maryland joining the Big Ten, I think this whole thing's just goofy.
Well, it's ridiculous. Louisville is leaving now, which I don't blame them for doing. To me, the Big East is a joke right now. Louisville's leaving to the ACC. The trade-off is Tulane. Tulane's coming into the Big East. And at this point, I have no idea why Boise. I know it's short-term financial gain for Boise and San Diego State, but long-term, it's not, guys. You're better off staying where you are. The Big East is dead. All right, that has nothing to do with this game. John, what do you have as far as thoughts on Boise State and Nevada?
I'm going to look at the total in this game. Two ways to look at it. One would be coaching philosophy, offensive styles. The other one would be the weather. Both these teams prefer to run the football. Boise's very good on offense, but they're not the powerhouse offensive team they were last year under Kellen Moore. Joe Southwick, 15 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. They like to run the football. 169 yards rushing per game. And don't forget, this Boise defense is one of the best in the country, 14.4 points per game, 6th in the nation. You get Nevada, they do have trouble defensively. On offense is very good balance. But look at the rushing game, 263 yards per game. That's 7th in the country. And then you have to factor in the weather. 57 degrees, but a 30% chance of rain. You get a 20-mile-an-hour wind. It can be cold this time of the year. You have to take that into effect with late-season college football games. It's a 30-10 game when they played a year ago. I see a similar because this total of 60, I think, is way too high. With the windy conditions, teams looking to run the football and that great Boise defense.
Boise's defense is the key to me because Nevada doesn't have one. They are one of the worst tackling teams I've ever seen. Just awful tackling all year long for the Wolfpack. It burned me in a couple of games. They're moving up and down the field and but they just can't tackle on the other side. Go back to the San Diego State game, where against a pretty good defense, they're just rolling up and down the field. But you look at the flip side. San Diego State did whatever they wanted. The key for Nevada offensively is Jefferson. They've got to get him off. If he doesn't run well, Fajardo, good quarterback, he's dynamic, but he can make mistakes. And I think might be tough sledding with Jefferson against this Boise State defense, in which case Fajardo might not have a big game. Now, that can be offset by the crowd in Reno, which is it's a great home stadium. It really is, one of the best. They get big crowds, they're noisy, it can be intimidating. But one team that they won't intimidate, I don't think, is Boise, although Boise's had some problems here in the past. But I like the way the Broncos are coming on right now. DJ Harper's been very good. He'll go over 1,000 yards, I would think, for the season in this game, but he's averaging 5 yards a carry. So Harper's been a nice score for this team. He's not Doug Martin, okay, but he's good. And Southwick, he's never going to be a star, but you know what? He's not making a lot of mistakes now. He's become a smarter quarterback as the season's progressed. I think Boise can get in and get the win here. I don't think I'll play this game. I don't want to lay 9-10 points to Nevada. They're too dangerous at home, and they're going to go out there and compete. But actually, my numbers say Boise a little bit better than the line in this game, so my lean will be to Boise. Before we get to our second game, which is a conference championship game, we've got the Big Ten title game between Wisconsin and Nebraska to look at. Before we do that, let's check in with our man in the street, Fairway Jay, with a free NFL pick for Sunday.
Thanks, Dave. I've got a free play coming up for you in the NFL, but first, I have my NFC Total of the Year going Sunday, along with a big Thursday night NFL crusher in the Saints-Falcons game. Also, a college football Total of the Month going Saturday. You get all three plays for just $15, and if you sign up early, we'll include a week of basketball, no extra charge. Call 1-866-896-1627. Your free play today is on the Rams-49ers game. Recall the Rams took division-leading 49ers to overtime as a big double-digit underdog, and in fact, they outgained the 49ers in that game, 458 to 341. Now they return home off the upset road win last week, and it sets up situationally for a solid play on the Rams on their home fast track indoors. Despite strong defensive performances and now the quarterback change to Kaepernick for the 49ers, this sets up to be a solid competitive division contest. Let's take the St. Louis Rams as your free play. And once again, call the office now, 1-866-896-1627 for our NFC Total of the Year going, and we'll include a week of basketball at no extra charge. Back to you, Dave.
Okay, thanks, Jay. Sure appreciate it. In a little bit, we will check in with Jeff Sod from LVSS, who has another free pick on an NFL game. But it's time to look at Wisconsin and Nebraska. Big Ten championship game. And, Wisconsin, they didn't exactly impress me last week. I got to tell you something. This is where I don't mean to be real harsh on coaches, but I think Brett Bielema stinks. Good basic coach, gets his teams prepared well, but he's just not a guy I want in game situations. They got a chance to win the game last week against Penn State. Go for the win, dude. I thought it was a bad mistake on his part to kick the extra point at the end of the game and settle for overtime, because Penn State was the better-looking football team as that game went on. I thought he put himself in a position of underdog by going to overtime. I would have gone for the 2 points at the end of regulation. And I don't know why. Well, I do know why. So, anyway, I'm glad they lost at that point. Well, I'm not glad because I had to play in Wisconsin in the game. Nebraska, just not buying this team as being anything more than a solid squad, but I don't like their defense. And, 22.6 points per game is not bad. 31st overall in points allowed is not bad. But I just think it can be run on. I'm having a really tough time with this game, but I think the way I'm looking more than anything else is the under. I think it's going to be a battle of running games, keeping the clock moving, and I would suspect that both teams will be good enough in the red zone defensively to keep the other team off the scoreboard as far as touchdowns are concerned. More field goals than touchdowns, Al. Going to side with the under, roughly 49 right now in the Wisconsin-Nebraska game.
Well, I'm going to side with the underdog. The Cornhuskers come into this game on a 6-game win streak, including that 13-7 win versus the Hawkeyes last Saturday. Wisconsin, of course, has now lost back-to-back games. Unfortunately for Nebraska, teams that are favored in conference title games who gave up less than 14 points in a win their previous game, those teams have covered just 4 of 19, including 0-5 against the spread versus opponents off a loss. Moreover, teams off losses are 13-8 in title games versus opponents off wins, including 3-1 off back-to-back losses. I guess you could just put all this into the don't make sense category, but I'm just going to take the Badgers off back-to-back losses.
Something else to remember, John, as we look at that game, is it is a revenge game for Wisconsin, but they didn't exactly get blown out. And that was a big game for Nebraska. It was homecoming early in the season. Nebraska had a monster revenge motive after getting just annihilated in Madison last year. A very embarrassing game. But the fact that they were, they didn't come close to covering the spread in that game, Nebraska. But, I think they proved something to themselves in that contest. They're certainly not going to be intimidated by the Badgers here. And Wisconsin, quite frankly, isn't playing as well as they did earlier in the season, I don't think. And we're not hearing you, John. Turn your volume up.
That was a big comeback. That was a big comeback for Nebraska. They were down by 17 points in that game, came back 130-27. What stood out was the rushing yards, 259 to 56. I'm going to side with you, Dave, for looking at a low-scoring game and under. Normally when games are indoors like this is Lucas Oil Stadium, I lean toward looking for overs. I prefer unders on outdoor stadiums and natural grass, but I'm still going to go with the unders because of philosophy, which I mentioned on the other game. Look at Wisconsin's 3 of the last 4 games. They lost 3 of them. Michigan State 16-13, Ohio State 21-14, Penn State 24-21. All 3 were in overtime. Why is that? Well, because they're running the football. They've used 3 quarterbacks on the year. They've gone mainly with freshman quarterback Joel Stave. He's out with a broken collarbone, so they've had to flip-flop between Kurt Phillips and Danny O'Brien. This is a run-oriented team with Monty Ball and James White. They like to control the ball, control the clock. They're not going to throw it. Nebraska can actually play any style, but they're still a run-oriented team, 8th in the nation in rushing. And notice this, the Nebraska defense, second half of the season, the last 5 games, really improved. Look at this. They've given up 9, 24, 23, 14, and 7 points. That's an average of 15.5 points per game. So I'm going to look at a run-oriented game with less scoring than the odds makers expect.
All right. We'll get to the best bets in a little bit, but first we want to go out to Jeff's side, who's got a free pick in the NFL for Sunday. Jeff, take it away.
Thanks, Dave. Free play coming up. First is the College Conference Championship weekend on Saturday. Get a high roller conference champion blowout along with my NFL parlay of the year on Sunday, plus a Monday night winner on the Giants Redskins. 4 plays over 3 days, just $5. Just call LVSS at 1-866-575-8916. Your free play is the Patriots at Dolphins AFC East rivalry game. We saw how seriously the Patriots take division rivalry games last week when they pummeled the Jets on Thanksgiving Day, 49-19. Coach Bill Belichick easily has the best QB in the division in Tom Brady, and you can say the only NFL quarterback in the division. The only weakness the Pats have is the secondary, but they have added Aqib Talib, improving the depth and the talent. Plus, Miami ranks in the bottom 10 in rushing and passing offense. Rookie quarterback Ryan Tannehill has almost twice as many picks as TDs. Plus, Miami has a terrible pass defense, 27th in the NFL. The Patriots won here last year, 38-24, as Brady had 517 yards. The Dolphins are 22-52-1 against the spread in the last 75 home games. Play the Patriots. Once again, it's the College Conference Championship weekend on Saturday. Get a high roller conference champion blowout along with my NFL parlay of the year on Sunday, plus the Monday night winner on the Giants Redskins. 4 plays over 3 days, just $5. Call LVSS at 1-866-575-8916. Back to you, Dave.
All right, thanks as always, Jeff. Have another great weekend. Let's get to it. Best bets can be any game on the schedule or ones that we talked about. Sean, let's start with you this week and let people know what Jim has rolling as far as big plays are concerned.
Yeah, the weather conditions really stand out for me in this Boise State Nevada game. So under 60 points as both teams look to run the football, and you got that great Boise State defense on your side. Jim Weiss has a couple of big offers going on for this weekend. If you like to play college hoops, 5 plays on Saturday for $15. You get all 5 for $15. It's going to include his college odds maker error game of the year. That's his first college basketball game of the year. And if you like to play NFL Sunday, 2 monster plays. AFC game of the year. He hit his NFC game of the year last week, 38-10 with the Giants, plus his NFL total of the year. You can get both going with a guarantee for $20 from Jim Weiss, 1-866-841-1655.
And Big Al, 2 huge games this weekend and momentum because you just scorched it last weekend.
My best bet, Dave, for the show here, we're going to take the Wisconsin Badgers this weekend. It's going to be a great weekend for me. I've got a pair of NFL conference games of the month on Sunday. I've got a high roller college football winner going Saturday. 3 games. Go to all callers, just $19. And if you sign up early, you get my high roller Fortune 500 play going tonight. That's a $500 value. That goes in basketball. 4 monster plays, only $19. 866-841-1665.
I'm looking in the schedule here. The old scheduled rotation, and if you look at this, see that? That picture is like 1,000 years old. Okay, first of all, I'm wearing a tie, which you basically would have to shoot me to get me into a tie now. And that's pre-dye job, okay? That's how we have to update the pictures. I mean, it's just ridiculous that I've got some picture of myself in my 40s or early 40s. And I don't like the picture anyway. I don't know what I'm pointing at. 31 days for $31 is the offer. That in itself that is a really good offer, okay? It's $1 a day. You're going to get a lot of selections over the course of an entire month. And I'm going to include this big game, and this is dead serious stuff. When there's money on the line, the fooling around stops, okay? I have a lot of fun doing this stuff, but when I bet games, I hate losing. Anybody who follows me, if you follow me on Twitter, which is at Dave Cokin, you will see some, I try to keep the profanity at a minimum, but you will see some rants during games that are not going well for me. So anybody who thinks that we're not betting the games that we give out, think again. I wouldn't get that upset if I was just, here's the game. I got a big game this weekend. I really like one of the conference championship games. That's going to be included in this 31 days for $31 offer. So just make the call and make sure you're on this game. 1-866-896-1629. 1-866-896-1629. Best bet, I got to look at the Wisconsin-Nebraska as an under. John basically spelled out all the numbers. And I think the game's going to be played conservatively because, let's face it, there's a Rose Bowl berth on the line. This is a huge game for these teams. And Nebraska would love to get to that game. It'd be their first time out of the Big Ten doing it. In Wisconsin, it's going to be a good football game. Hard-hitting, low-scoring, in my opinion. This wouldn't surprise me if it's a 17-14 type of game. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Proline. We do this 3 times each week. There's a recap NFL edition, which we get done on Tuesdays. And then, of course, the college and pro preview editions follow that. So you want to make sure and check into the website on a daily basis to see what is new in the world of videos. Meantime, for Jeff and Fairway J, for Chip Chirimbus, who couldn't make it this week, for Big Al and John Cranton, for Jim Feist, I'm Dave Cokin. Thanks a lot for watching. Win a lot of money this weekend. Christmas is coming. Better to make it than to blow it. See ya.